Last time on the Cyclist Tactics, we took the lead in the Giro Fruinia, and now we have stages that mostly won't result in time gaps, at least until this one, stage 13. Some riders in the relay insisted on going bonkers up the first climb to clear it in 2 turns. It probably should have been a 3-turn climb. Things settled down on the flat, but now here they've made a wacky move that doesn't make much sense. I think Watson should follow it regardless, but I will drop the rest of my riders back. It did come back together, but the relay has been setting up these follow-up climbs to be more dangerous than they otherwise would be. And nothing's going to happen yet. I am up to the front a bit too early. But the same is true of all of our main rivals, and it was better to be at the front just in case they went harder up that previous climb. Last of the little hills, and it's Pavlov taking the pull. I had to have him play helper because Ward and Galliard were not in good condition to do this. Well, that puts Pavlov in bad position because no one took over for the relay to the finish, and if I follow Schwartz, I'm going to get jumped, so I do have to keep riding with Pavlov for now. But I think all this is going to do is delay the inevitable with Pavlov because we did jettison the peloton. They're out of attack points. And we still couldn't make the finish line that turn. Otherwise, I would have just relayed with Watson to get to the finish line. Bruce Phillips could, however, make it, which means Pavlov is dropped anyway, and I don't have to worry about sprinting. But this is great for Watson's race because Weiss and Gross are also in Group 2. And they will lose a bit of more time. Bruce Phillips took the stage, and in the process of leading us out, Pavlov did score more green jersey points. He may be better suited going for the green at this stage, especially since his recovery stat was always going to get in the way of a serious run at the GC. No, this is a bait laid by Powell to get me to go short while my riders are still in P2. I'm waiting until very late to bring them up to try and save a bit of energy, but we might not actually get a chance now if it's going to be fall out to the end. That is assuming we even need that many attack points to reach the finish, and I don't think we do. So I'm going to move Watson up anyway. Wait, they're counting this section here as a mountain. Okay. Well, that actually plays in my hand because it means the flat bonus that Aubert would have is gone in this finish. Pavlov's still too exhausted from yesterday to do anything, so I don't think we're getting over Aubert in a sprint. I was considering going relay ahead of him because look at all that momentum blocking. No one's gaining time today. But, no, no. We dropped to 9th in the sprint, but that's okay. We had the extra attack points, and it really doesn't matter what you end up with as long as you recover to max. This, more important stage. And so far, this has been a mad sprint to the point where, after the first climb, these riders that tried to save some attack points have not been let back in on the flat. And this is also the point where everyone comes out to play. Aubert was out of the peloton a little bit early. That might hurt him later. A titanic Bruce Phillips pull puts us within a turn of the finish, so Pavlov's still hurting, so this is another stage we try with Watson, and I'm gonna latch on to Weiss. I think he's gonna put in the biggest pull of everyone. Unless he decides not to go the extra tile over Carl Gross, which he would have been allowed to do because there's no momentum blocking in the relay. We get same time regardless, but that was slightly annoying. Ah, that's right, because it was a flat mountain move, not a mountain on its own, so it came down to how much attack and energy per turn you had, and on that regard, Gross and Weiss were equal. The next stage is rated flat with just the one climb here. Assuming nothing crazy happens on it, I will see you on the final few turns. Okay, maybe I am a little bit worried about this mountain because Sean Watson just made an absolute bonkers pull to bring us here in one turn when I was expecting a 2-turner. And that means I can't move up without spending attack... Well, I suppose we don't need the attack points anyway. We will move up. This is also a climb with no slipstream whatsoever. Somehow the peloton's still going to make it over, just... But had it been any longer, it would have been really bad for us, and we're just going to scrape on by here. And there's a speculative attack by Julian Orber. I think he's trying to take Carl Gross out of the race because he's running out of attack points here. We can follow, and then Pavlov should be able to pull us to the line. For a moment I thought the peloton would actually catch us here, but their strongest men did not pick up the slack. As for me, I've decided to concede the stage win just to make sure we get as much time as possible on everyone aside from Orber. Which is far from the ideal way of doing things, and I wouldn't be surprised if Orber ends up with more ranking points than Watson, despite finishing second to Watson's first on GC, assuming we do hold on to this. I suppose that's offset by Watson getting the wearing yellow jersey bonus points-wise. Short hilly stage coming up. It's been ridden hard so far, but we came off the rest day, so everyone was able to deal with it for now. But it looks like the top of that mountain was too shallow to put anyone in serious trouble. Ward, we made a decent move with him, and we're going to make another big move just to make sure nobody attacks. So it's going to come down to the sprint for the stage. Which I might actually be able to force a win for one of my riders if I take Grigoriev's lead rather than lead out, because if I can put together enough momentum blocking, no one's going to be able to get over. And instead of overtaking with Watson, we actually put more momentum to protect Pavlov's place. And that has worked. Pavlov has the stage win. That's our second Pavlov stage win of the tour, with Watson rear gunning both times. It puts him in a position to now contest the green jersey. It's been another standard flat stage that happened to have a climb in the middle. It's just jumpable by the strongest riders. Galliard is not one of them though. Watson and Pavlov are, of course, which means we are going to have 20 riders, basically a peloton. And some of those not in the relay could have potentially jumped here, but too early. I think there's a few more turns yet. So that just leaves the big sprint, and I think there's going to be a lot of momentum built up in a hurry by Phillips and Watson, so I'm going to have Pavlov try and take it from the front. Watson's just going to watch Orber. Slight hitch in the plan. Caruso and Weiss wedged themselves in between, and Sean Watson was just too strong anyway. We're going to take provisional second. Not sure we hold on to it. No, Orber is stronger. It might therefore be a tall ask to actually take the green jersey with Pavlov, because he's already running out of matches. Even with the rest day, he's still only recovering half of his energy per day. I thought I might have been forced to go into P1 before the AI here, because I moved into P2 pretty early, anticipating an attack on this 14% climb that never came, because nobody was in P1 at that point. And I thought someone was going to make it to here, but the peloton actually stopping here momentum blocked all of that. So we've got this awkward positioning. And I didn't take Ward with me because I didn't think he was going to be needed anymore. Nonetheless, no problems for us until the climb, and I thought someone was going to make it to the 8. But it looks like this is going to be a slightly shorter move, just the 20 nodes, which at this point in the race isn't that much. There are no tactics in this finish. There's a zero slipstream section. We just got to be as far to the front as possible, because we're going to be full out just making it across. But I think Weiss takes it, and he does. Yeah, he's just that little bit quicker on these short bursts. No change to the overall standings though. Weiss already lost a bit of time earlier on, and I'm not counting on him getting back into the race, as there is only one high mountain stage for him to take advantage of. This is dangerous. The rest of the relay have decided to go hard in a way that actually dropped the peloton. I'm going to be the only person acting for the peloton for the next couple of turns. We can't afford to let this get too out of hand because Caruso made the break, but this is going to be 2 turns to reach the foot of the next climb. Looks like it's all good. They could make it over this climb in one turn either, and they've decided to stop short to let a trio take the breakaway. So we jump ahead to the part of the stage that matters. Not much happened on this first climb, despite it being a juicy opportunity. It just wasn't quite the right time for anyone to attack. I think the breakaway's taking this, by the way. Grassi and Serrano still have a full turn in hand as they're cresting the final climb and just have a relatively gentle run to go. But that hasn't stopped Aubert from launching a massive move to try and gain some time. He's taking Caruso with him too, and I cannot go with it, so I'm not going to spend attack points at all. I'm just going to try and reel it back in using the peloton's power. I doubt we'll lose much here, but they've also reached a 14 node that we couldn't quite reach, which he's made it across in a 12.96, and we're going to be stuck here for a bit. Watson can go a little bit further. He needed to take responsibility to save his yellow, and that should be enough. Only 0.18 of a turn lost. It's going to bring the gap down to 0.1. That was a really good attack from Aubert at the end, and I've just got to hope that him doing that then makes him vulnerable on this stage now, because he didn't recover the full energy. But it's a puncher's finish. He might still have enough energy per turn to make it over. That is assuming he doesn't simply recover all of it on the flat leading into the final climb. Hopefully this first climb is tough enough to make it more difficult for him to do so. Some technical sectors along the way motivated the relay to go hard, so it's been a good pace set for our purposes. Aubert's going to come in with less than 50 energy. 38 by the time we actually reach the final climb, though it's not the hammer blow to his ability to ride that I was hoping for. Nonetheless, he seems to have stopped short because he didn't have enough tack points left to follow through. Either that, or he simply made a mistake, because it feels like he should have had the attack points to follow through. Yes, because 5 extra nodes, 5 attack, he would have been on 10. He would have been able to make another move, and he would have had the same pace as Watson on this final move. We get beat to the stage by Weiss and Gross, but that doesn't matter because Aubert has given us a freebie today. And with a flat time trial still to come, this could make all the difference, because we might not even need to gain much time on the high mountain stage to defend ourselves in the time trial. Not to mention, Aubert is more of a sprinter than a pure time trialist, so he's not even going to gain that much on us. So, can we hold on? Is Caruso going to be our main rival here after all? Find out on the next episode.